Peter Griffin. What comes to mind when you hear that name? Family Guy? Seth MacFarlane? Crappy cutaway gags?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty.
Maybe an evil gay baby that wants to kill his mom and then fuck his teddy bear.
There's always been a lot of tension between Lois and me. And it's not so much that I want to kill her.
I never knew there could be such a thing as a perfect day.
Don't frolic too much, Rupert. Save some energy for the hula contest.
All of these would be correct and somewhat normal answers back in 2008. However, in recent years, it seems as though Peter has taken on a life of his own outside of the Family Guy writer staff's control. I believe this all started thanks to Oni Plays making off-color jokes about the characters doing things that don't seem too out of pocket nowadays due to the current showrunner.
Giggity! Remember the time, Peter? Peter, remember the time
No. Hey, Peter, remember
Things like Peter Griffin wearing a trench coat and going on a massive shooting spree, ending with him staring at the camera while his eyes bleed, seems more plausible now than it did 10 years ago.
I dreamt last night that...
there we go, that's what it is.
I dreamt last night that Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane wanted the show to just end already.
Yeah.
And the second to last episode of the season, it was just Peter Griffin. He doesn't look like Peter Griffin anymore. He spiked his hair up and he was wearing a trench coat. And he just went into a mall and he started shooting everybody for 20 minutes. That was the whole episode.
A lot of this has to do with where the show's going now, especially since it's basically run its course. Family Guy used to push the envelope with what you could see on basic access TV more so than The Simpsons did, where The Simpsons had a little boy that said hell and damn being super controversial for the 1980s.
I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you?
Family Guy upped the ante by having things like a gay baby, more advanced swearing, earning it a TV-14 rating, and suggestively explicit scenes like the infamous Peter trying to breastfeed Stewie gag. This set the stage for other shows to push further. While Family Guy isn't the best show, and some may argue it ran its course around season 10, can't deny that without it being on Fox and doing the out-of-pocket shit it did when it first aired, we wouldn't have shows on basic access with more suggestive and controversial themes. And don't get me wrong, South Park did all of this before Family Guy, but I'm not counting it due to the fact that they're on a premium cable channel, and when they would air South Park on basic access TV, it was usually heavily censored and late at night when most kids were asleep. To put it in perspective, Family Guy was usually aired around 8 or 9 when it came out, and that's when kids were mostly winding down but are more than likely still watching TV with their parents. So when I mean it pushed the envelope, I mean it purely in the sense of what any old schmo and his kid could see by channel flipping and not intentionally looking for a premium channel directly tailored for shows like South Park. You have to remember too that when Family Guy came out, the only adult animated TV show in years to touch on controversial subjects like children swearing was The Simpsons, with the earliest example of an adult animated cartoon that said controversial things being Wait Till Your Father Gets Home from the 1970s.
Hi, Harry. Taking out the garbage?
Why, no. Can't you see? I'm doing time trials in my new Ferrari.
Hey, we're a little edgy tonight, huh? Something happened at work, Harry? Some Puerto Rican give you trouble?
No Puerto Rican gave me trouble.
You sure? Sometimes you can't tell they're Puerto Rican, they're so light. But just play a Poopy Campo record, if their feet start moving, they're Puerto Ricans.
In retrospect, The Simpsons was a mild viewing experience compared to the antics of the Family Griffin. In 2007, the idea of an infant that had strong homosexual fantasies about his teddy bear was something that was new and fresh at the time and shocked audiences when they saw it. This wasn't really pushing the envelopes in terms of writing a representation, but it did sort of pave the way for other shows on basic access TV to get a little more raunchier than they had been in the past.
Oh my.
Excuse me, you're not supposed to be enjoying this.
Then maybe you should spank me harder.
Oh yeah, I'm buzzing the in, so good.
The reason I got so into Family Guy's impact on basic TV programming is because in order to understand the fall of the show and rise of original parody Peter content, you need to understand that at one point, Family Guy wasn't just the butt of a joke for shitty adult cartoon shows. It was a show people actually enjoyed, and when they missed it so much that the DVD sales skyrocketed, it prompted Fox to bring it back. In recent years, Seth MacFarlane has stepped away from actively writing and developing stories for Family Guy to pursue other projects, most notably The Orville, which he has full control over, and seems to be a passion project considering how much of a Star Trek fan he is.
Gotta be a line within 0.3 microns. The specs say 0.5. Who do you think wrote those specs? A warp field specialist?
In pursuing other projects, Seth left the skeleton crew to pick up the pieces and cobble together more stories for more seasons of the show that is funding all his other endeavors. Unfortunately, just like with The Simpsons writing staff, eventually people get tired and they leave, or they get fired and new people get hired on. Because of this, we have other people with conflicting humor who want to write things that they themselves find funny, but, in practice, nobody else finds funny at all. The best example of this, and also where I personally believe Family Guy lost all respect from everybody watching, is the infamous episode where Stewie wants to have a baby, so he steals some of Brian's DNA and splices it into himself so that he can go through a 9-month pregnancy within the span of the 20-minute episode.
All right, Rupert, the fertilization device is complete. This will impregnate me with the child that will bring Brian and me back together. We're pregnant! Oh my god! And in 18 years he's going to move away!
Not only is it disturbing and weird because it's a baby getting pregnant by a dog, but I think it actually outclasses all the stories where Brian has relationships with human women in terms of gross.
This could be a chance for you to finally make things right.
What? What do you mean?
Well, you do have a son that you were never there for. This is your opportunity to do things differently.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Another issue that people have with Family Guy is the political stances that it takes. It's very preachy, but the characters themselves are very hypocritical when it comes to things that they do and what they say. Not to get too into it because I don't really care about politics, but one of the most infamous examples of this seems to be Quagmire's dad being trans. It's hard to tell if the people at Family Guy like trans people or don't, because whenever they talk about Quagmire's dad, they just shit-talk trans people.
Excuse me, ma'am. No porn at the bar.
Oh, it's okay. I'm transgender.
Oh, I had no idea. Do whatever you want all the time.
But then they have episodes where it's empowering to be transgendered.
And my story, to one degree or another, is every transgender person's story, and all those stories are the price of admission to finally feeling at peace with who you are.
Seth has also stated that Brian the dog is his stand-in character, kind of like how Tolkien used Tom Bombadil as his. So it's confusing too if Seth himself finds trans people repulsive, or if that's just the character of Brian.
You know, we are in a hotel.
And I'm in room 406.
Quagmire's father, decorated war hero Lieutenant Commander Dan Quagmire, is now a woman.
We still call him Dan?
No, and I'm not crazy about the name change.
What is it, like Danielle or Dana?
No, Ida.
The show tonally is all over the place nowadays, and that's due to the fact that they're hiring people seemingly at random on the spot to write these shows. And due to this, it's more than likely where the internet mockery comes from. Going back to the pregnant Stewie episode, in 2007, an episode like that would have never even crossed the minds of the original writers and Seth MacFarlane. It almost seems a little too in bad taste to do considering that Stewie is a baby. But nowadays, in order to keep revenue, people talking about the show, and getting people to watch, they keep doing more and more super ridiculous, makes no sense types of gags for the show. Because of this new precedence that Family Guy has set, it's become a running joke with people who are either not fans of the show or fans that are tired of the show to make up what-if scenarios for episodes that involve things that are extremely goofy and out of pocket.
Hey, Joe, I challenge you to a duel. Let's play, you guy out.
Peter, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm here to talk about you mowing your damn lawn.
The reason for this is because it seems as though the showrunners don't give a shit about Family Guy anymore, so why should we? Why should anyone? Why should they care what they put on their script and make into an episode? The reason these shitposts involving the Family Guy characters make the rounds so much and are so popular is because the actual show itself isn't good anymore. It's tiring. A lot of the gimmicks and running gags are annoying, The characters are more annoying now, and they don't retain any of the characterization that made them likable in the first couple seasons. I mean, sure, Peter isn't the best dad to Meg.
Mom, have you seen my trapper keeper?
But he's never wanted to actively kill her like he does now.
Dad, I'm just trying to bring you into the modern era.
I see.
Quiet up there!
Sure, Joe might be crippled, but when he first was introduced, he was an inspiring character that overcame disability and was a jacked cop who just happened to be in a wheelchair.
No, Lou! Don't run downhill!
You're going to jail, punk!
Now his wife keeps cucking him.
If I were a skunk and you were a cat who kept repeatedly wandering into areas where there was wet paint, I would look at that strap on your back and think you were another skunk, and I would try to wrap you. And it would be legal because we are in France.
Oh, Francois, it's like I'm in a dream.
And wanting to kill him, and he just sits there and takes it like a little bitch.
The foundation is totally out of whack. I mean, the whole house is slanting down to that cliff over there.
Uh-huh. Can you open the sliding door? I'll take it.
So if the showrunners don't care, why should we? It's funnier to hear Peter, Stewie, and Brian talk about the Quran and its teachings in a very serious manner.
Brian, are you seriously eating bacon? You know, Peter says that's haram, right?
Haram. It's just breakfast, Stewie. What's the big deal?
Astaghfirullah, Brian. Pork is forbidden in Islam because the Quran says it's impure. Surah Al-Baqarah 2173 and Surah Al-Ma'idah 53 both make it clear.
Than it is to actually see them tell jokes on the show. It's funnier to see an AI video of John Lennon singing Imagine, but instead of the lyrics being the lyrics to the song Imagine, he's just talking about the show Family Guy.
Imagine Peter Griffin.
Literally anything that's made by people who don't actually work on Family Guy is better than what is made for the show Family Guy. It's sad because if you watch something like The Orville, you can see that Seth MacFarlane really does enjoy writing, and he really does have a talent for it.
Primary. There are other options. You will now terminate the human. If you do not comply, you will be deactivated. Very well. I will not allow them to harm you.
You will always be alone.
It's sad because it reflects negatively on him. Family Guy makes it look like he can't write. When, if you watch the first couple seasons of Family Guy, they're pretty funny. A lot of his jokes actually do land when he's directly writing, and a lot of the stories are actually good when he's directly involved with them. So to see so many of his shows go down the poop chute because he's just not involved with it anymore, and who cares, is really depressing. But if that means that we get more videos of Poop Peter who's bloated and backed up with shit, then I guess I'm all for it. It's also safe to assume that these shitposts make the rounds and get so popular because it almost seems not too far-fetched what they're doing could be in an episode. There could be an episode where Peter is extremely bloated and gassy and green. Who knows at this point? Anything could go.